For the invisible things of him from creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse. So people who say, you know, well, where's God? I'm turning away from him. You know, they're without excuse. A lot of people who seek God, they also at the same time turn on MTV and, you know, one day and then the next day they're going through a bad time and it's like, well, where's God? Or they, you know, go see, you know, terrible movies, or they, you know, smoke their pot or whatever. Well, where's God? You know, the next day, and he's there. And at the same time, I don't want to invalidate people's issues. Some innocent children grow up just with horrible, horrendous lives, and don't have time to talk about that now. But there's some tough things that people they never asked for. And
well, to me, it's about having faith. I mean, you can't just think God's going to do this and God's going to do that for you. You have to have faith in Him.
Yeah.
And actually believe in Him and not just using Him as some sort of, you know, God give me this, God give me that. You know, you have to believe in Him and have faith in the Lord in order for Him to enrich your life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Without faith, it's impossible to please God.
Exactly.
Professing themselves to be wise. Okay, now we're talking about college, and we're also talking about this thing with the president on TV saying it's a fact, global warming is a fact, or what does he call it, climate change, it's a fact.
Yeah.
Okay, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. That's a foolish thing he's saying. It's not true.
Yeah.
And change the glory of the incorruptible God to an image made like to corruptible men, and to birds, and four-footed beasts, and creepy things. You know, when I read that, I think about evolution, which is another conversation that I've talked about here on the show. And you can go to my website, 11thhourpolitics.com, and there's a lot there that shows why evolution is just really silly. I mean, I know that, gee, that's controversial too.
Yeah.
But, you know, the school teaches one side. Nobody gets a chance to hear the other side, and it's really a goofy
I recently watched another video between a person that I guess puts on a creation conference or something like that here in Portland.
Yeah.
Well, good friend of mine went to it, and I guess it was a debate or something like that that was at Portland State. I was watching this. It was actually really great, and it was between an atheist and I forget the guy's name that was doing it. But
Eric Coven,
yeah, that's it, yeah. And he was really making some great points, and I mean, I was believing him over the atheist guy, you know, so.
Yeah.
But,
I have his father, Kent Hovind.
Oh, okay.
On my website.
Yeah,
I did a seminar and what's really great about them is they let you, there's no copyright, they want to get the word out.
Get the word out, exactly.
We have to get the word out.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, God gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own heart to dishonor their own bodies. And we're seeing a lot of lust. I mean, it's just rampant, you know, internet pornography and things like that. Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Okay, so now we get to Agenda 21. Here's one verse. They changed the truth of God into a lie and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator. So all of a sudden, because people are rejecting the Bible, all of a sudden now we have this UN, New World Order, Agenda 21 agenda.
Yep.
That is, they use climate change.
Oh, yeah.
And of course they use global warming.
Yeah.
Not long ago. And then it's like, oh, wow.
They changed it to climate change.
Now they have to, and
It's about marketing, basically.
Yeah. What are the people going to believe? Well, they don't believe global warming anymore because it's getting cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just change the word.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything about?
Well, as I said at the Willamette Week video, I believe climate change is a myth.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, whether they call it global warming or the liberals changed it to climate change, it's still a myth. It's a hoax to me. And it's, I mean, man-made global warming is a myth. And it's. I mean, I just call it weather myself. I mean, it's weather. You know, come on. I mean, it's been happening for millions of years, or at least 5,000 years. But but basically, I mean, a friend of mine told me about the Mount St. Helens eruption here recently, and that actually, the Mount St. Helens eruption released more carbon into the atmosphere than any man-made global warming claim could ever do. But I mean, the point is, it's all about control, is what it is. It comes down to control. And when I said global warming or climate change, or as what I call weather, climate change is a myth, I think that kind of insulted their religion, as you were talking about the religion of the creature, as opposed to the creator. So
yeah, and that's going to cause this earth to just be enslaved to the United Nations. I mean, they don't care about you. God loves you. They don't love you. Okay, I want to go one step further on the on that. Not only is there not climate change and change, but instead in the Bible it talks about when the sin is just to its fullest, the wrath of God will come down. I mean, it's sin. It's because of sin. It's not because of anything else. As if we're seeing strange things, you know, the Bible's clear about why. Okay, so here we're going to get to the next political issue, and it's marriage between one man and one woman. For this cause, God gave them up to vile affections, for even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature. Likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burned their lust one toward another, men with men, working that which is unseemly. People say that, well, people are born this way, and I mean, there's a lot of issues that we're born with. We're born into sin, but we need to overcome those sins. So the problem is that as a society, instead of embracing them and helping them through that, and we love you, but this still isn't right. We still need to help you work through this, and you know, and the church again, they were asleep on that. They really, typically, I think, spent more time condemning them than loving them and trying to help them through it.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of the opposite. Now we're being condemned
for believing that marriage is between one man and one woman. I mean, to me, marriage is a religious institution in itself. And I mean, here in Oregon, we do have civil unions, yes, that people can, I guess, get together in a civil union. And but when they try to infringe upon our religion in terms of calling it marriage as opposed to a civil union, that's not right. I mean, marriage is a religious institution between one man and one woman. That's the way it is in the Bible, and that's the way it is. And by the liberals or those on the left that try and that are trying to change the word marriage, like they've changed so many other words in our English language, it's basically perverting the word, and it's not something. I mean, as I said, marriage, one man, one woman, a religious institution. They shouldn't be trying to get into our religion and trying to affect us and basically shame us into thinking that marriage is something else that it isn't.
Yeah. If they want to talk about separation of church and state, which
exactly,
doesn't
I mean, they're hypocrites in that way.
And also on here, you know, skipping a verse, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. In other words, it's not convenient. God's saying it's not convenient, and He's talking about the conclusion of this, and He lists all kinds of things that are really hard. Not just whether it's hard on a homosexual, whether it's hard on a child, an adult, anybody. The entire society being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, and covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity of evil. Whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors, covet seekers, and without natural affection, implacable, unmerciful. I mean, these are things when a society is built on these things, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for anybody. It might work out pretty good for me one day, and then the next day when it comes against me, it's going to work out pretty inconvenient for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at societies over our history. I mean, I look at the Roman society. I mean, that when things started happening similar to what are happening right now, the fall of Rome came. And when they turn away from God, then you're going to have a fall of society. I mean, you look at Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, they turned away from God. and their society fell.
Yeah.
And so we have to reinvest in our Christian religion. We have to reinvest in God and have that faith.
Yeah, and it's to everybody's advantage, no matter where you fit in any category. It doesn't matter. It's the freedom, it's the joy, it's the love that comes, throughout all of it. And if we have struggles, don't try to get society to accept those struggles. I mean, whatever it is, it could be a guy beating his wife. Why do we want society to accept a guy that, well, he beat his wife? I want to read this one last thing, and then you'll have just a few seconds because we got to conclude.
Sure.
Knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them. In other words, it's not just that we do these things. That's what we're finding is a society pleasure in doing the wrong things. Pleasure against rebellion, against the Judeo-Christian heritage that made our country great.
It's like the moral fabric of our country is coming apart.
Yeah.
And we need, as I said, we need to reinvest our faith in God. And we can't put pleasure over what's morally right or what's honorable or what has integrity and character. I mean, one thing that's also been degrading is character in our country. And we need to have men of character, men and women of character, in there representing us for our country to be strong. We can't be afraid. We can't be intimidated. I mean, other countries around the world, if we're afraid, other countries around the world are going to see that and they're going to take advantage of us. And some of them aren't based in God either, And we just have to get back to that. We have to get back to where we were founded, and we were founded with our belief in God.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
All right. I appreciate you being willing to come on and talk about Romans 1. Not always easy stuff to talk about morality these days, but we have to get to the point where we can do that and quit being afraid. But above everything, show love. If you want to read more about New Age philosophies or read more, watch more, you can go to my website, 11thhourpolitics.com.